Hello, everybody. It's your favorite HR buddy. Welcome to another episode of the Out of Office podcast.
Should we clap?
Yeah, let's clap.
I just gave you that line.
I love it.
You should.
This is where work meets talks off the clock. And this episode is brought to you, of course, by PaidHR. Today, I'm super excited because we are talking about an exciting topic that touches everybody, either you're a leader, a follower, an IC, a team member, or a manager. We are talking about the importance of delegation and empowerment when it comes to building strong leaders. And today, I have two handsome gentlemen.
Amen.
You are receiving it by faith.
By faith.
You are good looking, don't worry. I have two handsome gentlemen doing amazing, great things in their respective fields, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Hi.
Okay, hi. My name is Toyin Olasehinde. I am the co-founder at Treford. So basically, we are an edtech platform that basically helps individuals and businesses sort of like upskill into no-code areas in tech. Essentially, that's what we are all about. So if you're thinking of going from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 100 in your career in tech, and you're in a no-code area, then yes, we are your guys, basically. Nice. And I'm the co-founder. I'm basically doing a lot of things. So, a lot of things.
I actually love that you mentioned 0 to 1 and 1 to 100 because that's going to be a talking point later.
No.
Sign up on Treford, guys. Yeah.
All right, yeah. My name is Tosin Olowo.
Olowo. We have to touch the end of this garment afterwards.
Yeah. I lead technology and product adoption at PaidHR. I'm sure our listeners already know what we do at PaidHR, but basically my job is to make sure that our customers get value, out of the product. And how do I do that? By upselling and cross-selling other, in-app products, employee benefits, and just optimizing their experience on the platform.
Nice.
Great. A very simple way to probably start this is when you hear the word delegation, what comes to mind? Anybody can take it.
You can start as a low.
Delegate some roles.
Yeah, so when I hear delegation, what comes to mind is trusting, some other party with a task or responsibility, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind when I hear delegation, trusting another party with a task, a responsibility, or with an activity. Yeah.
I love that trust part because that's a important element.
I think like what he said is 100%. Like if he just like said out of my head too. Like when you hear the word delegate, the first thing that comes to mind is trust. Like you are giving this person the opportunity and you're trusting that this person is going to be able to get it done. So you're trusting that this person can, you are communicating, this is what I want you to do, and you are trusting that person is able to do it. That is what delegation simply is.
Yes.
You guys have helped. I feel like we can just end this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Why did I not come here? Warn yourself.
Because you've highlighted, very crucial point that would sort of guide our conversation. And if you're just listening, we are breaking, just to help you follow this, we are going to talk about the part of delegation, and then we'll talk about the part of empowering people to be able to receive that delegation. So I love that both of you mentioned the element of trust. So to make this practical and very relatable, I want you to give scenarios where you are a recipient of tasks being delegated to. How did that go for you? What were the key lessons you picked? And then maybe my next question would be the converse situation.
I think for me, when it comes to the whole thing about delegation, right? How I've worked over time in terms of how my own career has sort of like grown over the years is a lot of like do this, and then I was able to just independently like take stuff up myself from there.
Independently,
right? Yeah. So like where I started from, where I really started in tech space was I think 2014 precisely September. I remember that was like my first
24. That's 10 years.
That was like my that was my first like tech job.
Wow.
Right, literally. So
that was a long
good
time.
Afternoon, sir.
Now but that was really my first, and it was a lot of like there were not a lot of things then, right? So it was more of Toyin, we don't have this, we don't have like, so when we did not have like the people that we needed to do certain things, it automatically just fell on my own plate. And the reason why I came to my own plate was because they could see that, oh, this guy has prospect to do these things, right?
I
So
love the word
before
prospect.
you even, I mean, I think there's also the place of employees themselves need to be capable before they can be delegated to, if that
Yes,
makes sense.
very, very, yes.
Right?
Employees need
Needs
to be capable.
Yeah.
Or maybe have a similitude of capability.
Exactly. Like, you should know that this person can actually take stuff up, right? So I think they saw that, and it was just automatically like, let's start giving this guy the opportunity to do these things, and they could trust me to do those things. And if I made mistakes, there were corrections, right? And then from there, I just learned to automatically just pick up other things that they would not even mention, if that makes sense, right? So I think that's how I have like just grown.
Being a resident.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's super inspiring. I mean, that's a decade journey.
Of a lot of it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
To say.
So when he was speaking, something came to my mind, and it was initiative, right?
Yeah.
I, for one, started my career as a associate, tech sales associate, right? And then from there, grew to where I am today. So coming in as an associate, and that, I think that was also my entry point into the tech space. Prior to that, I had done some work in marine logistics. So working with who I worked with at the time, right? A lot of tasks, you have to take a lot of tasks where we're just a small startup, where there are not a lot of salespeople. So it started little by little. As a salesperson, it starts from you doing demos, starts from handling conversations, right? I remember one of the first conversations we had at the time was with Sportybet. Right, it was for me as an entry. It was mind blowing, right? You are talking to this big, this company that does a lot of things, right? So all of those little wins, when you say when the delegates, give the responsibility of handling certain conversations, even as an, as a young employee, it builds your confidence, right? And over time, your leader or whoever is managing at the time can say that you can take initiative, right? Toyin just buttressed, as in he finished work when he was speaking. You can take initiative. You can take initiative. They say that you can take initiative. They look at your capabilities, and then it allows. There's something my boss to say. He will say the reward for good work is more work, right? So they keep on, delegating and giving you more work to do.
But you also develop like stretch.
Yes, your capacity expands, your confidence improves, and more work will be delegated. And you as a person, you build that confidence. You are growing, in your own career.
No, that's very helpful. And I would take us maybe like half step back. So this question is for you, but you can add. Both of us mentioned the word capability, and I really love that, and I want to hammer on that. But the question, because I talk to a lot of entry level careers, and I'm very sure that some entry level career professionals will listen to this podcast. How do I show that I'm capable? Like, some people say, oh, I don't even have the chance. They don't give me the chance. They are not looking at me. What are the 2-1 or 2-2 bullet points that people should do? How do I display capability? How do I show that I deserve to be given a chance?
That question is very interesting. I think for me, right, I've worked with quite a number of people, to be honest, and I've managed quite a number of them. And I think one of the key skills that would help you survive anywhere is when you are proactive. Yes. Once you are proactive, one of the key components of being proactive is you're able to sort of think 3-4 steps ahead of every other person, right? And that way you're able to decipher what problems are we actually having right now as a company or as a team that I can solve. Just take initiative and don't wait for your guy to always talk, right? Once you are able to take initiative and do that thing without someone telling you, automatically, except if that company is not, like, they are not worried about your growth, or they don't think about your own growth,
even
and
if
you
they
don't have
the right, you're good. They think about the business.
Yes, exactly. You're already showing like this person, like, automatically it becomes this guy actually knows what to do and how to start getting how to get things done, and it just becomes your own thing, and people are able to depend on this person, that this guy can actually get things done and give you the opportunity, even if you've not done it before. They can see that, oh, this person like can do this thing. So I was talking to my friend last night, and she told me, oh, she resumed at one of the top fintechs in Africa, actually. And she resumed there, and she was in one team like that. And she was like, and then next thing she tells me, oh, that they even moved her, like after 3 months, they moved her to a team lead in another team. Wow. I was like, it
after
means yes. I was like,
as if fighting for probation.
Exactly. I was like, it means that they saw prospect, right? If you were actually just the normal person there, you will be there for like 1 year.
1 year, and
nothing
will happen.
Exactly, nothing will happen. So like,
you'll be collecting your salary.
Exactly.
Will you be fulfilled?
So I mean, and that's it, right? So if you are proactive and you can take initiative again, but me, I will always just preach it to anyone, even to the people I work with now. You just need to be proactive. You can have all the skills in the world. Once you are not proactive, it takes something away from you, right? It's just an extra to have. That once you have that, some things will automatically just come in place for you.
I think I have something to add to it.
Yeah. Okay.
He spoke from you already in the organization, right? I'm speaking from experience.
I
right?
love it. That's why we're here, to share experiences.
I think that a lot of startup founders need to take a chance on people.
Call them out.
Yes, take a chance on people.
Dear founders,
right?
take a chance.
Dear tech startup founders. Take a chance on people, right? Don't look at their past experiences or what they've done before. Look at what, how they sell themselves. Basically, interviews are for you to sell yourself.
Yes.
Somebody sells themselves properly and you just take a chance on them. They might not have that background. I, for one, do not have a sales background. I did project management, in marine logistics prior to joining, tech sales. Somebody took a chance on me, right? So, take chances on people. That's why we have like a lot of people who, right now, I know a lot of HR guys will say we have a lot of unemployed people, but are they employable? There will still be some guys there, right? Just take a chance on people. Try to utilize the talent. They are cheap labor anyway. So just take a chance on them. What do you have to lose?
Tosin, let me say something.
Yes.
I like how this.
I think it's 50-50 to be honest. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
No. Let me tell you why it's like that. Let me tell you why it's like that. Because no oga likes plenty work. Like at some point you want to focus on the high level things, right? But unfortunately, sometimes you just find yourself in a position where you are doing a lot because sometimes the people that you are working with, not because you've not given them a chance, but they probably don't level up. Right? Sometimes it happens that way, to be honest. Right? You give people chance and then next thing, like they are not doing, and then you just have PTSD. If I give this new person this thing like this, like, so you are just waiting to see. You just need enough proof sometimes.
Yeah,
that's why sometimes it might look like some people are saying no right now. The reason why they say that is because maybe they've been burnt, yes. And sometimes they just want proof, enough proof to be able to say, okay, this person can actually do this thing, and then, okay, yes, let's give more or let's delegate more to that person. So sometimes it could be this, so like you said, like sometimes founders obviously they need to also like open up, take like managers, team leads need to like take more opportunities and take risk, right? Because if you don't take risk sometimes, like it is what it is. But also just to also balance it out. Sometimes people have actually given opportunities and they get burnt. Like it has happened to me too. So like I can say it from that angle as well. And then sometimes also from the angle of I need to see that you are capable enough to do that thing. And then maybe not even do it completely, but you have a little bit of an inkling that you can actually do it. And I'm like, okay, let this person go on.
No, I really love the balanced perspective, and by the power vested on me as the anchor, I'm just going to summarize this. So if you're listening, pay attention. I love that both of you have come from different ranges. As employees, you should be proactive. I love how you hammer a lot on being proactive. And proactiveness, it could be doing the minor things the major way. I'm just going to share one thing. When I was at General Electric, when I was just starting out my career, I used to do something random. General Electric was a big company, of course. So every Friday, I search for all the things trending in renewable energy because I was in GE renewable energy business, and I sent to everybody. Like
you stand out automatically.
People did not even know the face, but people knew that there was a guy in GE renewable energy called Emmanuel Faith. Guess what that did for me? When I finally moved to HR, there was my first event, the first employee engagement I had to organize. Immediately they heard that Emmanuel Faith would be anchoring. I'm like, oh, the Emmanuel Faith, the person I used to send us newsletter every Friday. Oh, I'm going to be there. Right? And it wasn't even something that had to do with my day-to-day delivery. It was just something as minor as collating what's happening in the industry and sending it, right? And I also loved what you said about founders giving a chance. Interestingly, I think we have an episode that is just focused on how startups can, make the right hires and things like that. So stay tuned. stay tuned to the Out of Office podcast. Great. So we've talked a lot about delegation. I want us to talk about empowerment. So we've shown signals, we've shown signs. How do you both, you specifically from the leader's perspective, and you even as an IC, how do we empower people to take more responsibility? Is there a connection between delegation and empowering people, and how does that work?
So I think the way I think about it is, delegation is just like a component of empowering people, empowering teams, right? Or empowering your team.
I feel like you should say that again.
Delegation is a component of empowerment, right? So, for instance, you can, if you want to empower your team to be able to, empowering a team means that you are giving them the ability to function on their own, right? They are self-organized. They can do stuff and get stuff done, right? They can meet company goals without, someone always
micromanaging them.
Exactly, that kind of thing, right? So, in other words, delegation is just one part of it. There are like a lot of other parts that you can. There are a lot of other things that you can do to empower your team. Delegation is one part of it. Another part is you like giving them opportunity, giving them the resources to grow in terms of upskilling them, giving them, that's also empowering them, right?
Yeah.
You could have like team members that you see that this person actually has like solid prospects to do certain things, right? But doesn't have the know-how, exactly, technical know-how to get it done. So and you believe that if this person gets trained in this thing for like 2 months, and then this person comes in to practice what they've learned, then they would, level up to certain areas, right? They would be able to handle it. So that's you empowering that person, right? Or empowering that team, right? So it's just a component. So they are very much linked together from our own perspective. And delegation, having an open space when it comes to communication as well. It's also a way of empowering your team. Because if you don't have like a good feedback loop, transparent system and all of that, you are not going to be empowering them to be able to make certain decisions, for instance.
Oh my God.
Right?
I love the idea of feedback loop. And transparency.
Yes.
Tosin, do you want to add something?
Leaving a open ground for that open door policy, it helps a lot, for your employees, even the employees as well, them taking the initiative. Sometimes you may have a manager who is very busy, right? Not because they don't want to draw you close, but because they have a lot of responsibilities. So you could shadow them, and when they see you do those things, right, that delegation comes in, right? Yeah. They see that you start showing, just like what we said earlier, interest, capabilities, you're taking initiative. There's that distrust, which is a very important part. It's very important. Trust. That trust comes, right? And then they, even no matter how busy they are, they're now saying that, I think I need to give this guy, I need to give this person some more opportunities. Some of the tasks that they are doing that's keeping them busy, I think I want to give this guy, and they would do, they would hold you hand in hand, whilst you're, trying to achieve that task. And after a while, you just notice that you don't need any hand holding.
That's great. I love it. Go ahead.
I think another way of also empowering team members is just allowing them shadow.
Yes.
I love that both of you because that was my next question. Okay, please go ahead. Yeah, talk about
the
that.
Spirit.
I like the angle he's coming from.
Because I wanted you to talk about what does it mean to shadow people, shadow people, and then you now mention it. So go ahead.
Because I think that way of empowering people is also giving them the opportunity to tag along.
Yes.
Like, just come and see what's happening in this meeting.
Yes.
Imagine when you are
They don't need to say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't need to say anything. Just be there.
Like, observe that meeting if you have to be in
and there's no risk.
Yeah, there's no risk. Just be there.
Right?
Just be there.
Be there. Like, listen to what is happening. See how the cycle starts. If it's a sales, the conversation starts from the beginning of funnel till when the end, and all those things. Like, if it's a technical task, like
hear those technical terms. Know how it happens.
See how this thing gets done.
Yes.
I think it's also another way of helping that person to understand how certain things are done, so that when that person is even exposed to that scenario, the person can easily handle find their way around.
I'm a product of shadowing. Right.
It's great.
Yes,
because my next question was going to be, can you guys give particular?
Yes, I'm a product of shadowing. When we started, we're a very small team. So most of those sales meetings, I would go with it. I would go with it with my CEO. I go to them with my CEO, I don't need to say anything. I just need to be there, right? You get product knowledge, you get business knowledge, you know, client perspective, different behaviors, different personalities, different organizations have different, the way they operate differently.
Stakeholder, psychological display to things.
Exactly. And then one very good thing about it was that after we have all of those meetings, on our way back to the office, you know, I say, who asked me, what do you think? What do you think? The way this person said this thing, what do you perceive? Right? So we just have that chat, and then you realize that you haven't taken like the CEO.
Shout out to the best CEO ever.
Right? You haven't taken like them, right? So confidence, it builds your confidence.
Yes.
Next time, if you want to go, if you are going to a 45, if you have a meeting with a 4500, it's not shark because okay, all right. What do you want to say? I'm listening. I have answer for you.
Great.
So I mean, it's very important. I think shadowing is important. You look at whoever you are shadowing, the manager. What is it that they are doing that is working for them? How can you adapt that? Adopt that, and then adopt, and then personalize it. Right?
Because so there is some responsibility on the employee.
Yes.
I was thinking about that next.
It's not just the leader. So the leader has given you the chance.
Yes.
You as an employee, you will maximize that.
That's exactly
more. There are some people that
and then personalize it.
They will be on those calls. They will just be mute. After the call is done, so what? They won't be able to say anything.
You understand?
So why
were you there? Why were you there? I put the calendar on
to be honest, I've done something before. I think there was a time I hired someone and I had the person just join calls like that. We'll run over certain things. And then one time, before the call, the next type of call like that was going to happen, I said, you take the call. He was shocked. And then the call started.
One incident.
And what he was saying, I was like, "Kid, what is going on in this place?" I had to step in. After the call, I told him to wait back. I was like, so what have you been doing? All the calls that I've been having this same scenario, it was now deleted.
So you people, they say not give you chance. They gave you chance now. What did you do?
What have you been doing? Like so definitely 100% is both sides. As the guy is giving you the chance, then you too also have to like be able to step up.
Yeah, so I want to share an incident, but I also want to, now that you've given us, the grass grows kind. I want you to also give us like one positive kind, maybe where someone gave you a chance to help you shadow.
No, so to be honest, right, I've like most of the people that have sort of like worked with me for a long period,
they've developed.
Mostly they've actually developed, and it's as a result of taking risk on them and all of that, right? So when you expose them to those things and those situations, give them a chance to be able to simulate that thing, right? And then gradually they just keep getting better. Like there are a lot of them around me, so I don't want to, like there are a lot of examples where
they will not feel partial.
Yeah, exactly. So they like where they probably did not know enough.
When they were joining.
Yeah, when they were joining the team, and then just being able to, being exposed to certain situations, being exposed to certain scenarios, they're able to just level up and also like stand on their own to do certain things.
No, that's super inspiring. You see, we said it at the beginning that he's an amazing leader. You wanted to share an incident?
Yeah, so when he was speaking, I something crossed my mind, and a particular incident crossed my mind, and then he speaks to even virtual meetings, right? Yeah. You send calendar link, you join the meeting, we'll have like a full-blown meeting. Let's say you are okay. I'm just speaking from an employee perspective. You're your manager. Your manager is having the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, he asks you, so just share me
a minute.
Yes, a minute.
Yeah, just do
or just what was the call to action? What was the
call to action? I love that one. Call to action,
right? And
sorry, it was not action.
You don't have anything.
It was passive. It was not active at all.
And you know that you need that call to action for the next steps. Are you going to go ask your manager that? Can you remember?
Everything they know record.
Yes.
Everything they record. I quickly beg.
Sometimes I set people up with that thing now. So what was the call to action?
Yeah. So what are the next steps now? Yes, send email. Put me in copy. And then you don't know what to do next, right? I think that's why you hear some managers will say, turn on your camera. I want to be seen in your office. Because some people will join meeting, there's this joke we used to crack in the office. Some people join meeting and maybe they are frying plantain.
Any question? No question.
So, any question? No question.
No
Or
question.
they'll call your name and say, Tosin, so what do you think about this thing? No response.
No,
it's not response.
Or you say, yeah, so what Emmanuel said.
I totally align.
I'm alive. You know, those and funny enough, you think that you've gotten away with it, but people know on the call that this guy wasn't paying attention, right?
Yeah.
And if that continues, they just know that
This person
is not always, they are not mentally present in the meeting, right? And it gives a perspective of
About you.
Yeah. Now when there's a meeting, they'll keep on asking things like they'll mute and ask, "Are you there? Are you there?"
And the moment they start doing that,
that trust. And trust
it begins to diminish.
It begins to diminish,
And
right?
then it affects
so,
you.
it's just very important that you are mentally aware, you as an employee, do your own part to grow your own self, to grow the company, and then just have like a very nice reputation out there.
No, I mean, I think what I've enjoyed so far is how both of you bring balanced perspective. You from a founder, you from an employee. And I think just to draw the curtain of this part of the conversation, dear employees, I want you to know that your career is in your hands, right? Don't come and say people do not give you a chance.
Yes.
That minor chance, that's showing up a meeting, that calendar invite that you're not supposed to get invited to, but you got that manager that forwarded you a meeting and say, "Oh, join this meeting." They don't have to say join this meeting and take notes.
Yes.
The moment they say join this meeting, you already know that's a chance, right? When I was just starting out my career, one of the things I used to do when I get an invite, I just go and look at all the people.
Yes.
Oh my God, these big people that.
And
It's just I just don't want the project that blew up my HR career at GE. I joined renewable. So I work with renewable energy Nigeria, but just a sub-Saharan African meeting. And so I just done the summary and sent to people. Nobody sent me work. They don't send me work. I just sent. And then the next time they just said the president of GE Africa wanted you to work. President of who? What? How did you know my name? And they're like, they saw this report that you wrote.
Yes.
Right. So when leaders give you a chance, be proactive, don't say that, don't think that chance will come in like a big form or a structured, formatted form. An invite to a meeting, a follow me to this client's place. Can you work on this slide with someone? Sometimes some managers just forward email trails to you. No action point.
No action point.
They just do FYI. FYA. And then, at the end of 1 month, they'll be like, this email that I forwarded.
I mean, that's where the proactiveness comes in, right? They don't need to tell you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's something I always tell people. At the end of the day, when you are leaving, or when they, if you have to leave, or when you are leaving a place, they will not tell you that, the skills we've given to you.
Bring it back.
They were,
Yes.
bring it.
Yes.
You are going with it.
Right.
Wherever you are going to. Sometimes even transcend into your daily life, because literally some of us spend 8 hours, 10 hours at work. It's a vital part of our life.
That's about 40%.
My founder would say, whatever you do here, you are doing it for yourself.
Literally.
Because nobody can take it away from you, right? You are doing it for yourself, right? And, if you do a diligent work, right, even the people that you interface with, because as a salesman, for example, right, I still consider myself a salesman.
No matter the job,
no matter where I end up,
no matter the fancy job title,
no matter what, I consider myself a salesman. You hear people randomly call you, right? And I'm telling you, randomly call you. These are people, big organizations. They call you. I got your number from so and so person. They said that you are the person to talk to for XYZ, right? When you get calls like that, you know that my reputation. Do you understand? And it just lets you know that anything that you are doing, especially professionally, you need to be very mindful of it. You need to be mindful of the image you keep out there, because that's what people see, right? That person has never met you, but how they're interfacing with you is from what another person has, said or told them, And if that is negative, it's the same thing. So you apply for a job, you're applying for jobs, you're not getting this, you don't know why, but there's something they say, I don't know, I hear it a lot, I don't know how true it is, that Lagos, the tech space in Lagos is very small.
Everybody knows each other.
They said so. So we just say, yes, they said so. They said so. You just go, you're talking to them, you say, are you not this thing from I know you now. Like,
I know you now.
I don't know.
It can be two ways.
It can be two ways.
I
What
know
do you know?
now.
What do you hear? You know, but if you do a good work and you know if you are keeping a good reputation, you won't be bothered about those things.
Yeah.
I know you just be like, it's my work.
Yeah.
It's
Someone
my
like
work,
Emmanuel
so,
Faith, I'm a baller.
I'll
You know, it was what you said that made me to remember now. When you said G, now the president of G, he knows that name.
Yeah.
If he needs something, there's one Emmanuel Faith guy. Find you. Right? That's what they call grace. We're not saying
Yes,
grace. Right, you get the job. Now grace.
Grace. And I also think the reason why I like that PaidHR is hosting us to do this is that we are sharing gems that people do not come out and say this is how we got here. So we've talked a lot about delegation and then we move to empowerment. I want us to talk about challenges, you know, across both. And maybe a good way to kick this off is we've also talked about like chances, how managers give us chances. So 2 straight up questions. What if the employee thinks, I'm using the word thinks, that, these chances are overwhelming? Or sometimes it's even chances that they are not interested in. What are your thoughts about that? Maybe in like bullet points.
Yeah, what are my thoughts about it? So you know how I started. You know, earlier I said the reward for a good work is more work. So those more works will come. I think if you feel overwhelmed, I think that is very natural, right? For you to feel overwhelmed, right? But you need to take a pause. Take a pause. Take a step back. You know, understand that the reason why this work has been delegated to you is because you're already good at what you do. Because
oh my God, say that again.
I love it. The reason why the work is delegated to you is because you're already good at what you do, right? Because sometimes, you know, that overwhelmness can come with imposter syndrome and all of that. So you need to first of all take note of your wins. You know, all of those things that you're good at. Take note of your wins.
Document your wins.
It's always good for self-reflection.
Yeah.
So when you self-reflect, it sort of like motivates you,
gives you the
right?
boost again.
And it gives you a new perspective and looking at that
new task,
right?
delegation.
So sometimes when you have like a new task that is overwhelming, you just need to take a step back, right? If you're having imposter syndrome, look at your previous wins, look at things that you've done before, look at it from the angle of your manager. Why did they give me this task? Is it to punish me? No, it's to build my career. So all of those things, right, will eventually build you. I don't know. I'll be quoting my CEO regularly.
Best right? CEO ever. Again, you know.
He would say that something about in the moment of when the shawala, right? That you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training, right? So all of those, you know, little things that you do,
that you've accumulated.
Yes, eventually you will discover that even when you find yourself in that similar situation next time, you will just find out that
I've done this before. I can do it again. So that positive perspective.
Yeah, so you just have to look at it positively. Take a step back, you know, self-reflect, and then look at that task with a new mindset. It would come.
No, I love it. I love what. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to and. Don't take away the mentorship, right? Look at people who have done similar things, or look at other high flyers in your own organization, right? Share that tax. You say, what do you think about this thing? You get perspective from different people because trust me, like different people will always have like different views of how they see that thing. So you can pick it, add your own. I always talk about adding your own because you have to personalize it. If Toyin, you know, gives me his own ideas about a certain tax, right, and it does not align with my own persona, right? It would never work. I will not be able to deliver just like he would. So you have to personalize it, right? So ask questions from people. Other high flyers, I'm very specific about high flyers.
I love that you're using the word high flyers. That's why we are here.
Yes,
so make everybody high flyers.
Yes, other top performers. Because when you rub iron sharpness iron, right? Yes. So when you rub shoulders with them, some of those
traits by default
we get you. Yes,
excellence.
We get that excellent mindset.
Yes,
and that's my serious. But yeah, you know, it rubs off on you. You are able to look at it. And funny enough, after a while, you discover that when those kind of tasks that might be overwhelming come, you might not need to ask anybody because you already have all of those information that you need
to process
it.
Do you want to add something? Because I want to add something.
I think he has said everything already. I think maybe the only situation might now be if it doesn't fit into maybe what
you want to do.
Okay, there's that aspect.
You can have a conversation with the person that, but at least try first.
Yeah.
At least try, make an effort, make an attempt because what you don't know, You know,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
Just make an
very
attempt,
true.
try first,
Yes,
and
it's
then
very good to try.
yeah,
It's
just
very good
try
to try.
first, and then when you are sure
Yeah.
that okay, this thing actually,
It's very
then
good
you
to
can
try.
have a
I
conversation
mean,
with.
in tech adoption, one of the things I realized when I was given the role, product and tech adoption, it's not a role that you hear
Yeah,
very
it's
well.
not exactly.
I realized that it needed the intersection of CX, product, marketing, and sales. And I have never done marketing in my life. So it used to be very, when it has to, I would go and meet, I'll go and meet the marketers. This is what I have. Oh, this is what I'm seeing. This is where I'm seeing my job is intersecting with this your
These
department.
guys,
Me, I'm not a marketer. What do you think? Right? And they will be happy to help. Right? Because you're working as a team.
Yeah, I also
trying to
think that
achieve
people
the goal.
forget that you can seek help.
Yes,
within the
people always
organization.
forget that.
Like you are literally either you work remotely, hybrid, like you are
Yes.
literally not alone.
Yes.
And people are always happy to help. It also
Yes.
helps like interaction, collaboration, and
exactly.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Yes, I think one thing I wanted to add to what you had said was just I love that Toyin talked about like communicating to manager. I love that both of you talked about trying out first. I think that if
Yes.
you're a beginner, like you're between 1 to 3, 4 years experience, I think you have to do a lot of things. I always say that the only way to find out what you are good at doing is by doing.
Yeah.
If you
Yes.
do not do, you cannot even
You
find
can't
out
find out.
what you are good at. I did a lot of things. I got an
Don't go
email.
niche.
I got
didn't even like sales initially.
I got an email from a tax organization just yesterday, asking me to come and contribute to a tax paper. I'm like, oh my God, that's true. I had a life when I was a tax professional. And
In one of your lives.
and trust me, guys, because I know tax, it has helped me a lot in my HR role with finance managers.
Yes.
You know how finance and HR
Yeah.
used to fight?
Yes, sir.
Finance and all the finance people I work with never fight with me because I know tax. I don't do tax, it sits with you, but you cannot come and bamboozle me. And guess what? I will not also bamboozle you because when you ask for this thing, when you ask for WHC, when I'm sending an invoice to a vendor, you are saying, oh, we don't want a vendor that their VAT is this. We want a vendor that their WHC is this. I know what you're trying to do. You are not speaking verbals. Who have thought that the tax that I did like 6-7 years ago will now come back to play, in my HR
No knowledge is a
career.
waste.
So like your 1 to 3 years, if you feel overwhelmed, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, oh, I actually did that very recently. My manager said, oh, Faith, yada, yada, as a superstar that I am, my manager said, oh, I need this, and this. I just said, hi. Let me tell you the things I'm working on. I'm working on A, B, C, D, E. Do you want me to push this to this to this?
Just prioritize.
Again, back to what Tosin said about the fact that they are giving you a lot to do means that they see that you have the capability.
Yep.
So that's already trust, right? So just say, oh, okay, do you mind if I, decline this and maybe take the next one?
prioritize,
Do you mind that I attend to
Yes,
this now? Or do you
priorities.
rather, again, back to trust, to confidence, the fact that they delegate to you indirectly means that they're empowering you.
Yep.
And
Yes.
that's one thing I want you to take away from this.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Okay, gentlemen. Okay, handsome gentlemen. It's been a great conversation so far. We'll be drawing the curtain soon. So I think one question for both of you. I want you to share one thing to leaders, just like one bullet point to leaders when it comes to empowering. I want you to share one lesson to employees when it comes to accepting delegation.
Okay.
What do you think?
I had to take it. I
That's why I'm
had to sit
Emmanuel
back.
I had to do like this. Almost like that.
Okay,
So
guys.
I
alright.
think that for managers generally, or even for founders or whatever, right? I think first thing is you need to sort of like learn to. How will I say this? So I spoke with a friend recently, right? I think it was like 2-3 months ago. Anyway, so it's not recent. And when we were talking about like the volume of our work, and I was like, why can't they hire someone into your team now? Like, guess what? She was like, that they've tried bringing someone before that, it didn't work out and all of that. And so she's like very skeptical about another person joining. But then I was like, maybe you should review the hiring or screening process, try to bring in. And then when she now brought in someone, like the new person that now came in, like that person was able to take a lot off our plate, right? So sometimes you just need to take that step, right, towards like entrusting people with stuff to do, right? Because at the end of the day, it's also for their own and your own benefit. It helps you to be able to focus on a lot of other things that that would also move the business forward, right? It's very important. I think as a manager, you need to learn to be able to move certain things, because some of us are working from a place of PTSD. I'm serious.
No,
I love
I
I
understand.
love
I
the
understand.
honesty.
Yeah.
In fact, I rate the honesty.
Yeah, you come from a place of PTSD. You're like, this person
you
has
won't be
like,
beaten
yeah,
twice.
exactly. So you want but sometimes you just need to look out closely for the people that you know that actually this person actually has prospect to, be this person, even though they've not, leveled up to how you want to be able to delegate to them.
But they've shown signs.
Yeah, but they've shown signs. So you need to be very sensitive to those signs and bring them closer and start letting them know certain things. Like, this is how you should do this is how you should do that. Let them tag along on certain things, and gradually you see they will get better. So just be open to giving people opportunities and have a very open space where people can actually talk. They can actually let you know that they're actually open to doing things for you and doing things for the organization. I think essentially it's just about take risk and succeed.
Take risk. Again, I like it. Take risk and succeed. Yeah,
I mean, coming from the employee perspective, to my fellow employees, just see challenges as an opportunity for growth. Especially if you work.
See challenges as an opportunity for growth.
Yes.
Great.
Especially if you work in a startup that is still pretty much growing, right? You would tend to exhibit certain character and traits that might be ripe for another role that has not opened yet, but will open. Right? You might not know. Your CEO might not know. Your manager might not. Nobody might know.
But
right?
you
already exhibiting and showing that character and trait for a certain role that nobody knows about, that might probably open up, but nobody knows about, right? And so always see challenges as an opportunity for growth, right? Even funny enough, right? One thing people don't realize is that those challenges is what make the work interesting. Yeah. If not you, and that's one thing I like about the tech space, I mean, it's technology, right? Things keep changing, evolve fast, right? So gone are days where back in the like our parents, they're doing one thing over and over and over and over and over again, So you're doing the same job, but it's evolving in your very eyes, right? The thing that you were doing last year, you cannot do it this year because you know that it won't work. So you will find a new way to do that same thing, right? So those challenges, they make the work interesting. They make it, it is what would get you up in the morning and say, hey, yes, I want to go to work, knowing that you're not doing what you did yesterday. Right? So just see every challenge as an opportunity for growth.
No, I really love that. See every challenge as an opportunity for growth. It's interesting that I think one interesting point that you made was how sometimes, because of how much you've taken on, you are positioning yourself or even prepping yourself for a role, that does not exist.
That does not exist, so that might come up.
That might come up. So I have a question around that. How do you know that you're at a point where you probably can take up more within your company or outside your company? Maybe for yourself.
For myself, how do I know? I think it's if I notice that my work is becoming repetitive, right? So it's like I've conquered this, right? It's like there's nothing else happening around this that I don't know. So you're like, I need something more challenging. I need something that will mentally stimulate me, right? And funny enough, this mental stimulation that you're looking for, it might give you hell.
Yes, it will challenge you.
It will really challenge you. It would really challenge you, right? It will challenge you, go. But just having that positive mindset, also seeing that challenge as an opportunity for growth, right? So having that at the back of your mind, right? So for me, just going back to the question, for me, once I see that, in as much as the work is becoming repetitive, I know that there is nothing in this area that I cannot answer, I cannot conquer, I cannot solve, right? I think that you should have a conversation with your manager and say, hey, all of this, they will still test to be sure that what you're saying, that you have the capability to add more, right? And they will give it to you.
Great. So, Toyin, I know you want to add to that, but I have another variation. Because you're a co-founder. At what point, how did you notice that someone deserved to be maybe moved up to a leadership position?
So,
from your own side.
I would like to hear that one. I'm very interested in that
one. I think it's, first of all, in the little things, right? So there are certain things that you can do as an employee, or as an employee, for people to know that, okay, this person is actually ready to move up the ladder, right? So For instance, it could be that the things that they need in certain areas, you are able to provide them outside of your own jurisdiction, right? Or you are doing certain things like it's getting faster. Like you are doing certain things faster and it's getting much more efficient, and you're like, this thing, we can't keep this person here again. We need to move this
Got
person
too
up.
big for the role.
Yeah, this person has got too big for the role. So if you're doing what you're doing and you're doing it very well, definitely, like, it means that that's definitely a sign to move that person up or move that person to another thing, right? The other way is you've seen that this person can take initiative to do certain things. It means that if this person is able to take initiative when we are not even telling the person to do it, and these are the outcomes that we are seeing, then obviously it means that we can, take this person from
To
here
the next?
to the next level. So, and then I also think that another thing is, people should, like, companies need to, be sensitive to their employees. So it could be just managers getting to understand, like, what's really happening beyond, because
What
sometimes
work
it
do
could,
every
because
day.
sometimes it could seem so repetitive, and you might
Yes.
think that they're actually not doing anything.
But they are.
But they
It's
actually
just
are,
because
right?
what they are
But
doing
yeah,
is repetitive.
exactly.
It's repetitive, and they're now good at it.
They're now
They
good
are
at
good
it,
at
and
it.
because of where you stand as a manager, you're not really seeing the inside, the in depth of what is happening. So you might just need to come down a little bit to understand exactly what is happening, for you to be able to now know exactly, okay, that these people, they can actually do
these
certain
things
things.
that I've
Yeah.
mentioned. No, that's exciting. Guys, we've had a great conversation so far. We started from delegation, we talked about the importance of delegation, and then we moved into empowerment, talking about how both delegation and empowerment are like two-way streets. We talk about the importance of trust from the leader to the employee, and then we talk about the importance of the employee maximizing the trust by being proactive.
Proactive,
Right.
yes.
So to draw the curtain of this very, very, very engaging conversation, I want you guys to give anybody a shout out. I know you have given
I'm giving
your
myself
CEO
a
a
shout
shout out,
out.
like, so you can give. I mean, Mr. Finder does not want to be partial, so you can give your team a shout
Yeah,
out.
so I mean, shout out to my team at Treford.
Yeah.
They're doing a very amazing job. To Harry, Fermi, Dotun, and Esther, Favor, the other guys on the team. Just a shout out to them. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, shout out to the best year
Yes,
ever.
yes, to the best year ever, to my team as well. This is a team. We started really small. We've grown very big. We're doing things. You've heard people, talk about what we do. What we're doing. People are really excited about what we're doing. So shout out to the best team, the PaidHR team. You guys are superstars.
Great. So I'm going to shout out to the PaidHR team for hosting this podcast, of course. Remember, PaidHR is your number one platform for managing everything end to end as far as employee management is concerned. So if you're looking for an all-encompassing HR platform, check out PaidHR today.
Yes.
I'm also going to shout out to all the managers that have taken a bet on me in the past and all the funders that hired me and give me the platform to do good work.
Yes.
I appreciate you. Well, till the next episode, step back in when you're ready. But for now, step out, take a break, and listen to the Out of Office podcast. Signing off, your favorite host, Emmanuel Faith.